Good morning everybody, and here we are at Mathematics IGCSE, and we are now busy with solving linear equations, which is in section 6, and we're going to work through exercise 6.2, questions 1 to 3. But before we do, please make sure that you have gone through this work through all the examples, and work through exercise 1 to 3. No pain, no gain. You've got to sweat a little bit so that you understand what I'm talking about and you know where your problems are. And good news is that mathematics in life is the one thing where the answer is predictable always. So, hang on to it. Alright, here we go. Question 1a. 4x plus 3 is equal to 31. When we have an equation like this, we need to get x on the left on its own. You can get it on the right too, whichever is comfortable for you, but most people have it on the left. But we need to start at the number furthest from x on the left here, which is the plus 3. You've got to get rid of the plus 3 first. So notice that if there's an equal sign, it is an equation. If there's no equal sign, it's not an equation, it's an expression. So if there's an equal sign, it means that this is 31 and this is also 31. So if you change this, then it's not equal anymore. So you have to do the same thing to that side. So to get rid of the 3, we're going to subtract 3 here. And then on this side, we must also subtract 3. Otherwise, it's not equal anymore. This becomes 0, so we're left with 4x, which is equal to 31 minus 3, which is 28. Okay? Now we need to get x on its own. And what is this 4 doing to the x? It's multiplying. So, we're going to get rid of the 4 by doing the opposite. You always do the opposite to what it's doing. If it's multiplying, we've got to divide by 4. Both sides divide by 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1, so you're left with x. And this is equal to 28 divided by 4, which is 7. There you are. Then we move on to question 1g. I'm just doing these few selected examples in case you had problems, and this should solve any problems that you had. 12q minus 7 is equal to 14. Okay? So we're going to get rid of the 7 first by adding 7 to both sides. Okay, therefore both sides are still equal. It's like a scale. You've got to balance it. So this becomes 0, so we're left with 12q, which is equal to 14 and 7. 7 3 is 21. And therefore now we must get rid of the 12 by dividing by 12, so that this becomes 1. The coefficient of 12 will be 1. And this divided by 12. Then we're left with q equal to 21 over 12. This is an improper fraction, which is fine, but it's not in its lowest terms. We can divide the top and the bottom by 3 to get it into its lowest terms. So we divide by 3, and then q is equal to 7 over 4. And that is usually the best way to leave your answer. You might want to change it to a decimal on a calculator, but only if they ask specifically. You could change it to a mixed number, but I prefer to leave it with 7 over 4 because that's the easiest to do maths with a improper fraction. Right, 1m. 1m is 2x minus 1 over 3. Which is equal to 3x. We have to get rid first of the 3, then of the minus 1, and then of the 2, in that order, because we can't subtract 1 from this because we're going to be subtracting 1 from the whole thing. and that is going to be complicated. So, we multiply both sides by 3 first, because the 3 is dividing, we do the opposite, we multiply. These 3's cancel, we're left with 2x minus 1, which is equal to 3 times 3 is 9, and we still have the x. Right, so now we've got to subtract 9 from both sides, minus 9x, we subtract the whole thing, 9x. And we subtract 9x from this side, and we're left with minus 7x minus 1 equal to 0. Okay? So now we've got to add 1 to both sides to get rid of this one. So we add 1 here, and we add 1 here, and we got minus 7x equal to 1. And now we're going to divide by minus 7. Always remember your sign. Don't have to worry if it's plus, because then the sign is automatically there, but if there's a minus, you must write it in. So divide by minus 7 and divide by minus 7. Minus divided by minus is a plus, 7 divided by 7 is 1. So the coefficient of x is just 1. So we first write x, which is equal to minus 1 over 7. Okay, and there's your answer. That should be all you need to know for question 1. Question 2, we're going to do 2D. Okay, 2D, that is 11x plus 1 equal to 12 minus 4x. Okay. Now I'm going to do this a bit faster. Notice that you've got to know that you've got to subtract 1 from both sides. You've got to subtract to get your 1 that side. To get your 4x this side, you've got to add 4x to both sides. But you don't need to show every step of adding both sides and subtracting both sides. You can do it all at once, but you must show enough steps to get enough marks. Usually about 3 steps for these questions is okay. So notice when this 4x comes over, it becomes plus 4x. Why is that? Because you're adding 4x to both sides, and that's becoming 0. So we end up with 11x plus 4x. And the same happens to the plus 1. We subtract 1 and we subtract 1. So we're left with 12 minus 1. Okay, now we can add that up. We got 15x equal to 11. And then we're going to divide 15 both sides. And this coefficient then becomes 1. So it's just x. And this is equal to 11 over 15. And there's no common factors there, so that is already in its simplest form. X equal to 11 over 15. Right, we move on now to question 2f. 2f, half x minus 7 equal to quarter x plus 8. Alright? So, think in terms of, we can do this in 2 ways. I'm going to first do this the apple way. It's always an apple that we cut up. I don't know why. It's an apple. Sometimes it's a pizza or a cake. And we cut this into quarters. There's 4 quarters in the apple. Notice that in a half an apple, there's 2 quarters. If you know that, it makes this very easy. Because we're going to subtract a quarter of x from both sides. Okay? And we're going to add 7 to both sides. So if we subtract a quarter x from both sides, it's a half x minus a quarter x equals to 7 plus 8. We've added 7 to both sides, that's become 0. We've subtracted quarter x from both sides, that became 0. What's a half minus a quarter? We're just looking at the apple. If you have a half and you take a quarter away, you're left with a quarter. Quarter x. And 7 plus 8 is 15. Now we've got to get rid of this 4, which is in the denominator. So we've got to multiply both sides by 4 because this is dividing times 4. These 4's cancel and we've got x equal to 15 times 2 is 30. 15 times 4 is 60. And that's our answer. That is the way that you can do this. If your fractions are very easy, then you just know what one fraction minus another is. However, there's another way to do it, especially if you've got more complicated equations and we want to get rid of these denominators. So we're going to multiply the whole equation, that means every term, by the lowest common multiple of 2 and 4, and which is 4. So we're going to multiply everything by 4. We're going to multiply this by 4, this by 4, and this by 4, and this by 4. We can do that as long as we do it to every term. And if we multiply this by 4, 2 goes into 4, 2, so we're left with 2x. 7 4s are 28, so it's minus 28. This 4 goes into that 4, and it becomes 1, so it's x. And 8 4s are 32. Right, okay. We're going to subtract x from both sides. So we're going to have 2x minus x. And we're going to add 28 to both sides. So we're going to have 32 plus 28. Notice how when you move something over, the sign changes. If it's a minus, it becomes a plus. If it's multiplied, it divides. If it divides, you multiply. So we're left with x equal to 32 plus 28 is 60. And that's our answer. Right. Now we move on to question 3. We're going to do 2 examples from question 3, starting with number 3e. Okay, 3e, minus 5 in minus 6 equals minus 20. So, only thing extra you have to do here is first multiply out the brackets. You can of course also, and let's try it this way now. What's this minus 5 doing? It's multiplying. Okay, so we can divide by minus 5. We can divide this whole thing by minus 5, and we can divide this by minus 5. We could have multiplied it out and then subtracted both sides, or added both sides. It doesn't matter what you do first, as long as you start with the outermost number. So these cancel, and so do the signs. It becomes positive, so we have 10 minus 6 equal to 5 goes into 24, and minus divided by minus is a plus. So n equals, and we add 6 to both sides, 4 plus 6. Therefore, n is equal to 10. You could have multiplied this bracket out first and then solved the equation. You'll get exactly the same answer. Right, our last one now is 3g. 3g. 3g is 2p minus 1 minus 7. 3p minus 2 equal to 7p minus 4. So in this case, it is definitely best to multiply out your brackets first. The other one was simpler, so you had an option here. Not really, unless you had common factors between these coefficients 2 and 7. Yeah, you could have divided through and got rid of these numbers outside the brackets, but in this case it's best to multiply them out. So here we go, 2p minus 2 minus 21p plus 14 equal to 7p minus 28. Okay? Best way to do it. Once you're ready to do this, concentrate and work through quickly, and as long as you know your tables and don't stop in the middle, then and keep your place in the equation, then you won't make a mistake. Alright? Now we're going to get all our p's and constants together. So we have 2p minus 21p, and we subtract 7p from both sides. And this is equal to minus 28, and we subtract minus 14, and we're adding 2. Okay? So minus 21 minus 7 plus 2 is minus 5. Minus 21 and minus 5 is minus 26. P is equal to 28 is 7 fours, this is 7 twos, so the 7 sixes. 7 times 6 is 42, and it's minus 42 plus 2 is minus 40. Right, then we're going to divide both sides by minus 26. Remember, always when you do that, include your sign. So the reason for that is this p will then become positive. So we're going to divide by minus 26, and these cancel, and minus divided by minus is a plus, so p is equal to 40 over 26. That's not in its lowest terms, so we're going to divide by both the top and the bottom by 2, and we're going to get 20 over 13. That is your answer. Right, that is it for question 1 to 3 of exercise 6.2. Thank you very much.